Hello, ladies and ladies. Welcome to Book Buzz, where I read all the books that are buzzing on the internet and tell you about them. I need to work out this intro now.
Book Buzz. She's a reader.
I read the books that are buzzing on the internet, react, and review them, and let you know if they deserve the golden buzzer or not. You get it, like X Factor? Do you guys get how smart I was with this intro? Book buzz. Books that are buzzing, popular on the internet, but then also buzz as in buzzer, like X Factor, golden buzzer. If I give it the golden buzzer, it's deserving of reading. If I give it the X button, don't read it. I'm just a genius. What can I say? On today's episode 1, we are reading the book that has swarmed my For You page for months now, honestly. And that is Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Powerless is all the hype right now on TikTok's section of booktok, the section of TikTok that is about books. And everything is powerless. I've seen countless edits. I have seen countless art pieces. I have seen countless quotes. I have seen so much about it. And I was like, this is buzzing. And I'm... buzzing? Is that a word? So I bought the book. And we're gonna talk about it. Without further ado, let's get reading. First things first is I actually need to acquire the book. Hence why I'm excited. Let's go. I am a very awkward person, even more awkward when it comes to recording in public. So I was praying. I came in here on a random Tuesday at like 12 in the afternoon. I was praying that this Barnes & Nobles would be empty. It was not. There were people all up in the aisles. Not that I'm blaming them, hello. But it was just, I was very awkward to film. Anyways, I found the book, and then I found two more. One was a Barnes & Noble special edition, and one was the normal one. And I was really at a loss for which one to pick. But then I was like, you know what? Special edition, they're both the same exact price, so I will just go with this. And then I had to go pick up my sister. She was not ready to be picked up yet, so I did what any mysterious girl would do, and that is go to the boba shop, get myself a boba, and read. And it was splendid. It was different. I was cool. I was mysterious. My AirPods did not fit in my ears. I have small ears, but I got to reading. And guys, let me tell you, if there's one thing I love in books, it is maps. This map was so cutesy. Did I understand half of it? No, but I loved looking at it nonetheless. Another thing about me is I don't really like the sleeves. They're really annoying, they're really pesky, and I take that off every single time I start a book that's hardback. Speaking of, I don't like hardback books to begin with. I'm a paperback girly for life. And I started it at chapter 1 while I was waiting for my sister to be ready to be picked up, and I had the time of my life. I had the time of my life. It's very obviously very much later, very much so late. I read one single chapter at the boba shop, and then it was time to pick up my sister, and then I came home and rested because I don't know about you guys, but I'm a night reader. I like to read at night. It's just the vibes are perfect. And now we're gonna finish reading, guys. Since the cover is pink highlighters and pink tabs. 11:47 p.m. This is so comfy, cozy, cute of me. Stop. Stop. This is so like, what do you do in your free time? Oh, I read. What do you do in your free time? I read and I'm cute. If I don't finish the book tonight, this is why. We're on the male POV. The second chapter is the male POV. It's double POV. I love dual POV. And we're on his. And I just can't help but giggle. Anyways. Stop. Because one thing I love is a killer man who knows how to kill, but like doesn't. But he like doesn't kill, you know, like he's a killer, cold-blooded, ruthless, evil. But when it comes down to it, turns out he's a little bit of a softie. I'm on page 53. Girl, this is getting so good. I don't want to be too eager. I don't want to jump the gun. But girl, you're telling me who killed her? Who killed her father? Who? Tell me one more time. Who? This is getting good. I don't know what's going on, but I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. Oh yeah, I am. Deliverer of Death is his nickname. I like it. Deliverer of Death. It has a ring to it. I want to be the deliverer of death. Hey guys. Me pulling up to the party. Hey guys. I'm the deliverer of death. Hey guys. Deliverer of death here. Hey guys, deliverer of death. Hey, deliverer of death. Deliverer of death. Girl, she was just picked for the trials. I saw this coming a mile away, duh. But like, still. This girl is, okay, she's obviously surviving because she's a female lead, but like, yeah, let me just pull up into arena with a bunch of the most skilled, powerful people ever, and I've got, I've got brains. This is gonna be silly. This is gonna be so silly. Why is Kit, the brother, aka the future king, kind of cheeky? Why is he kind of cheeky? And why do I kind of like it? He goes to meet Peyton, and he's all like, I look forward to seeing you at dinner, Peyton. And she's like, Strange, like, I didn't tell you my name, stranger, because she doesn't know that he's the future king, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you didn't need to tell me your name. I make it my business to know all the pretty girls who saved my little brother. Me, personally, I would have fell. I would have been like, I'll be your future queen. Like, no, because this is so cheeky. She's like, mark my words, prince, I will be your undoing. And he's like, oh, darling, oh, darling, I look forward to it, babe. Oh, to be called darling by a prince who's about to murder me. Ah, the qualms of being a girl. This is my idea of fun, y'all. Sitting here giggling over a life I wish to live. God, I'd go to the trials just for the giggles. Would I literally die the second I step foot in it? Yes, but I would literally show up like this. Hey guys! I'd literally show up like this. Hey guys! Hey! Stop! And then when they start charging at me, I'd literally just start crying. Like, I'd be like, please, no! No, stop, guys. We can all talk and we can all be friends. Guys, we can... But when the prince walks up to me and he's like, darling, I look forward to you being my undoing. It is a very common thing in books for, like, characters to have, like, pet names. And it seems like the name that the male lead has chosen for the female lead is darling. Like, right now, he's just like, you're getting blood in your hair, darling. And I just... I love it. Like, so endearing, so cute, darling. Yeah. Rah. But at the same time, this just reminds me of Carrington, that one TikToker. Darling, guess who's back from jail? Girl. Very fitting for someone who's a murderer. Guess who's back from jail? Kai, apparently. Darling, I'm sorry, I can't look this over, guys. That's me laughing. That's me laughing. I'm giggling and I'm wiggling, guys. His next words are murmured close to my ear. That's what I like to hear. Of course it is, Pookie. Of course it is. Guys, they're so cheeky and I love them so much. But I'm not gonna lie, I kind of also like, this is Kai. The not evil, but this is Kai. But I also kind of like his brother. Kind of also like the brother. The brother's kind of cheeky. I am but a simple girl, and you want to know what's a scene I love? I love a lot of things, apparently, as I've made apparent through this video. I love when the girl laughs, and then the guy is like, I stilled. The room went silent. Warmth, light, love filled. You know what I mean? Like, he's just so enamored by her laugh. Why isn't anyone enamored by my laugh? I got called a donkey. I literally got called. Someone once DM'd me and said my laugh was heinous. Heinous. You're saying you hear that and you're not like, so warm, so bright. You don't think that when you hear me laugh? Boogie, no. Guys, this banter is so well written in my humble opinion, and it's not a humble opinion because this is actually a dictatorship, so whatever I say goes, matter of fact. But it's just so well written. Like, for example, she's like, I don't want to, she, as in Peyton, the female lead, tells the male lead, I don't want to fight your powers, I want to fight you, just you. And he says, so you just want me, no powers? And she replies back, yes, I just want you. And then he goes, I knew you wanted me, Gray. And it's just, I don't know, I feel like oftentimes in books, banter is so like, sometimes so forced where you're just like, girl, did you use ChatGPT to figure this out? But this is like, it's so playful and it's so funny and it's so like easily intertwined with their personalities and their characters that it's so enjoyable to read. Guys, like I'm having fun. Very unpopular opinion. I don't like fight scenes, guys. Like, I don't like fight scenes because they're so detailed, they're written in such detail and I can't follow. Girl, what do you mean balls of his feet, throws a punch and you're gliding in the air and the leg in the thing? This is all I'm envisioning. Like, that's it, okay? You don't have to give me more than that. Can we just fast forward? I'm sick and tired. Jabs, swipes to the left, I grab her elbow. I can't envision it, okay? And I'm a creative person. I've got a mini TV up here, but I can't even imagine it. Girl, I'm sick and tired. I literally look at one line, I see a fight's happening, I briefly skim and move on. Not for me. This is how I'm feeling right now. I'm annoyed. Why? Because Kit is so sweet. Dance with me, will you? Please? Shut up, I will. But it irks me because he's so sweet and he's so nice, and I know that this is now a love triangle, and I know for a fact that he's gonna lose. The second lead never wins, ever. I'm rooting for him. I love him, man. He's a sweetie. She is the embodiment of bad decision, the twin of danger and desire, the fine line between deadly and divine, and I can feel myself drowning, period. As you should. Is this giving cute girl who reads? Is this giving cutie little girl who reads? My attitude, my tone isn't. I gotta fix this. Is this giving mysterious coquette queen who reads? Is this perhaps giving mysterious queen who reads and is mysterious and stays up reading because she's just different like that? It is. I can't do this, guys. I can't do this, guys. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl, because tell me why this man is on the floor bloodied and bruised after a battle, and she comes up to him and she's like, are you okay? As one would ask. You have blood on you. The first thing he says is, are you okay? Have the healers got to you? Do you see that tear? Remind me to make you smile like that again when you aren't dying, and I have all the time in the world to memorize it. Forever wishing that the men in real life spoke like the way the men in books do, because this is actually sick and disgusting and disturbing, and I'm so sick in the head and the mind and the heart and everything, and this is just sick. Oh, to be dying in the arms of a dystopian fantasy protagonist where he cradles me and tends to my wounds. I am but a girl. I just want to cry again, because why is he saying the sight of her so weak, so vulnerable, so unlike herself was enough to shatter a piece of my soul I'd forgotten I had. Oh, cold male MC who has no emotions and forgets he has a soul. How I love you, MC. How I love the cold, relentless, I don't have a soul, broken hero who falls in love. How I love you. This is why I don't like reading fantasy or dystopian, because when I read rom-coms, I'm like, this could happen to me, right? When I read romance, like dystopian fantasy, I'm like, this can't happen to me. I'm not gonna be in the trials running from powerful powers and fighting for. It's not that I would want that to happen. If I was shoved in the trials, I'd literally just kill myself instantly. Like, I'm not. The second I saw my name on that banner, I'm ending it. I'm not dealing with that, actually. But it's just like, damn, like, I want this, like, two princes fighting over me. One of them is tending to my wounds while being like, oh my god, I have a soul because of her. You do. It's actually because you do. God, I'm so sick. This is so sick, guys. I don't think he said, I realized I had a soul because of her. Kit, I'm sorry. I'm turning my back on you. Kai, my guy. Kai's the guy. Guy's my guy. I'm loving him. This is just so sick, guys. I realized I had a soul. It's 4 a.m. by the way. The birds are about to start chirping in an hour. I'm not even the slightest bit tired. And I'm on page 217, where Kai said the words, "The sight of her so weak, so vulnerable, so unlike herself was enough to shatter a piece of the soul I'd forgotten." Guys, this is what books are about. This is what Shakespeare was talking about. This is what the alphabet was made for. A, B, C, D, E, F, G was made for this. Real literature over here, ladies and gentlemen. He realized he had a soul because of her. Can we really deep that? He said, I didn't have a soul, but she made me realize I had one. He just asked, who did this to you? Baby, it's about to go down. If you let that name slip, he's killing people. Can't say I'm mad about it. It is currently light outside, yeah. Right. We have the book to finish. I'm excited. He calls her vicious little thing, like a little too much. At first, it was like really cute, like, aw, vicious little thing. But I kid you not, it happens like once every 3 pages, and it's kind of like overkill. Like, I love like pet name. I hate saying pet names, but I love it when it happens sprinkle, like occasionally. But when it's like this often, it kind of takes away that like feature, you know? It's kind of just like, ugh. Literally, what the frick? The future king, he's all like, as long as you look at me, I'll listen to whatever you have to say and change. She literally looked at a puddle of water with a bunch of money, and she was like, this is so sick. All of this money could be collected and distributed to the poor. And it's like, okay, I'll collect it and distribute to the poor. She's like, huh? He's like, as long as you look at me, I'll listen and do what you want. This is what love is about. They're training together. And it's like a competition, and so she's trying to distract him, so she just like doesn't even touch him. She just like skims her her fingers over his arm, and the man starts shaking. He's literally shaking, like his whole body just starts shaking, and he loses the game because 320. Okay, and her guard keeps calling her princess. He's like, you look like a princess. He keeps calling her princess, and I feel like this is foreshadowing that she may be a princess. If she's like a royal and her father was killed because she's a royal and she has royal blood in her, she's a princess. I called it, actually. Guys, I actually literally can't with the whole, and I collide with something solid. No, someone solid. Ugh! Is that a wall? Not a wall. That's him. Girl, like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what are we actually talking about? I want us to delve into this. I want us to dive in this topic. Someone do your senior thesis on this. What is author's obsession with I bumped into a wall? No, not a wall. His chest. Girl. Oh, I hope you got a concussion. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna kill myself, guys, because why is she like, I could get used to you being a gentleman? And he replies, and I could get used to being one for you. Ew, guys, I'm kind of pissed off right now. I'm actually really pissed off right now because she calls his name. She's like, Kai. And it's one of those, he smiles at her, and she says it's one of those rare, real smiles of his that I confessed I wanted to see more of. Dimples, both of them on display, both distracting, both devastating. And then she looks at him and she's like, what? And he says, I just love the sound of my name coming from your lips. Now tell me, does that sound a little familiar? You will never beat the original. You will never be Warner. Don't ever do that again. It's just getting worse. His name is Kai, right? But his full name is Malachi. And so then she's like, but I didn't say your real name, you know, because his real name is Malachi and she just said Kai. So then he tilts his head to the sky smiling. Exactly what Warner does. And so then she says, Malachi, calling him by his full name, and his eyes flutter shut, his head falls back, and the smile on his lips and the columns of his neck make me swell, and he's like, only you can make my name sound worth saying. And she's like, well, what would you like me to call you? Kai? Malachi? And then his answer is simple, call me anything you like. You are not the original. Don't. Lauren Roberts, count your days. Don't ever do that to me again. I'm an Aaron Warner fan until I die. Don't copy him like that. That's just sick. Like, that is play for play, like, exactly what happened in the Shadow Me books. Like, word for word, scene by scene, exactly what happened in the Shadow Me books. What do you want me to call you by, Aaron or Warner? And he's like, whatever. Don't ever do that. Ugh. I got, like, the ick. We have about, like, 20 pages or so left. So much is happening right now. I don't even have, like, the mental processes to process what's happening. I need a moment, please excuse me. There's an epilogue, but I'm like, do I even want to read it, or do I just want to burn this book? I'm going for the latter. What the heck? What the heck? Why would you do that to me? What the heck? Just finished. That was so silly. It has been a full 24 hours since I last filmed, and I have had time to marinate with my thoughts on this book. I didn't want to jump straight after reading this and give my review and my thoughts because there is something called reader's high. I am a firm believer in it. Reader's high is where readers are on that like high after finishing a book, where you're just like, wow, that was incredible, that was so good, that was so giggly, that was amazing. But then you sit with it for like a couple days and you're like, huh? I didn't want to be on that reader's high after giggling for so long and immediately come on and give my review. So it's 24 hours later. I've had time to marinate with my thoughts, and we're here now. My rating for this book is a 4.5, which is one of the highest ratings I have given to a book this year, which is saying a lot because I've read 6 books this year, which is a lot. That's like a book a month. Powerless is a book that follows Payton, the female main character, an 18-year-old girl who is an ordinary. She lives in Ilia, I believe the kingdom is named. Ilian. This is not looking good. What's the name?
This kingdom is filled with elites. Essentially, there was a disease that affected this kingdom where lots and lots and lots of people died, and some people
The elites have possessed powers for decades, gifted to them by the plague, while those born ordinary are just that, banished from the kingdom of Ilia and shunned from society. No one knows this better than Payton Gray, an ordinary posing as a psychic to blend in with the elites. But when she unwittingly saves one of Ilia's princes, Kai Azur, she's thrown into the purging trials, a brutal competition showcasing the elites' powers. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for will, if he discovers what Payton is, completely ordinary. I should have done that to begin with! Now, this book is very akin, if that's the right word, to the Hunger Games. They share a lot of similarities. A lot of similarities. For example, in the Hunger Games, you have the games in which teenagers are thrown into a pit and must fight to the death. Only one successor comes out of it. And then in Powerless, you have the trials in which a bunch of teens are forced into a pit to fight to the death. Katniss, the main character in Hunger Games, is really good with a bow and arrow. Payton, in Powerless, is really good with a bow and arrow. In the Hunger Games, there is a love angle. In Powerless, there is a love angle. In the Hunger Games, you know, the teens killing themselves are being broadcasted for everyone to see, for the rich people to see. And in the trials, the teens killing themselves are being broadcasted for all the rich to see as entertainment. In the Hunger Games, there are, you know, the districts that are really, really poor. And then in Powerless, there are certain areas of the kingdom, such as the slums, that are really, really poor in comparison to, like, the capital where the elites and the rich people live. So there are a lot of similarities, but I think it would be unfair and it would be a disservice to yourself as a reader and to the author to disregard Powerless as, you know, just a Hunger Games knockoff, or just like talking. I'm sorry. The author herself markets Powerless as Hunger Games mixed with Red Queen. Now, I have not read Red Queen, but the author herself acknowledges that a lot of her book is inspired by the Hunger Games. Now, reading this, I can confirm that. You can definitely see how the Hunger Games was a foundation and a couple of the building blocks for this book. But going into that, I honestly didn't have a problem with it because, one, I knew that. I knew what to expect, and I was like, okay, there's going to be quite a lot of similarities to the Hunger Games. I got it. As long as it's good, I don't have a problem with it. Some people did have a problem with it. Me personally, I did not. Whenever I would stumble into a scene that would remind me of the Hunger Games, I would just kind of raise an eyebrow and be like, I've seen you before. But other than that, I was just like, this is silly and this is fun, and that's all that matters to me. In my humble opinion, a fantastic book. I think it's fun. I think it's charming. I think it's silly. I think you go through a lot of emotions while reading it. Or maybe I'm just really emotional. But I found myself laughing. I found myself giggling. I found myself blushing. I found myself, ripping my hair out. I found myself screaming. I found myself crying. Every emotion that a human would go through, I went through reading this book. Again, maybe I'm just emotional. This book is kind of like other fantasy books, It is very trope heavy and it follows a lot of the really popular tropes. For example, Kai Azar is your very stereotypical, soulless, emotionless, like murderous, dark, gloomy male main character, He doesn't know he has a heart, but he sees her and falls in love. He was raised as a weapon by his brutal father. He's so powerful, everyone fears him. And then there's another guy, Kit, the other prince. He's charming. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He's the golden boy. Both of them are fighting for Payton. Payton is the female lead who undergoes trauma, but she's strong and she overcomes it, and she's got a good head on her shoulders. She uses her brains. So it kind of follows a lot of the really popular tropes, but I can't complain because those tropes are popular for a reason. And I feel like the author, it's kind of, in my personal opinion, it's kind of hard to come up with like new things or new character archetypes when it's like there are thousands of books that are published a year. Like, if you want it, it's probably already been written. So I didn't necessarily have a problem with the characters and their personalities, but I do want to let you know that a lot of those popular tropes, a lot of that really like that those popular character archetypes are very prevalent in this book. Speaking about tropes, there were a lot of those in this book as well. A lot of those really, really popular scenes that people fall in love with, you will find in this book. For example, who did this to you? For example, those pet names, darling, vicious little thing. They are there. Wound tending, tending to his or her wounds is there. Betrayal, like very, very popular tropes are in this book. So be warned if you're not someone who likes very like trope heavy things, if you can even call it that. There's a lot, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think as a reader, I take a lot of things into account when I'm reading books. Again, back to the emotions. I'm a very emotional girl. And knowing that this was Lauren Roberts' first book, debut novel, guys, first book ever, I think that really played into my feelings of this book, and it's why I rated it so highly, because I really am. Do I know Lauren Roberts? No, I don't. But I really am just so proud of her, because to write a book like this and to have it be so fun and have so much banter, and it in my opinion is just like great. Like you're great, and it's just, I don't know, I got really emotional because I was like, I think Lauren Roberts is like 21, shy of 22 maybe, and I'm just like, wow, girl, your dreams are coming true, and I'm so proud of you, and you did great. Debut novel, guys. I want to remind everyone, this is debut, first ever book ever. And I think that is, this for a first ever book is incredible. Like, it's great. I feel like if you are in the mood for a fantasy-esque, dystopian-esque book that will have you giggling, that will have you, that will have you just having, that will just have you have, you will just have fun. I think this is a book for you. I think there are definitely scenes and moments where I was kind of rolling my eyes and I was like, oh brother, this book could have definitely done without this. You know, goes back to the excessive amounts of tropes and like the character archetypes and like the hitting the nail on the head one too many times with like the dark and gloomy type of thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there were definitely moments where I was just like, oh brother. But overall, I think as a whole, it was fun. And it's the type of fun where you're just like, you know what? I want to know what happens next and I want to read the second book. So this gets a golden buzzer from me. I would recommend. Do a little more research if you want. Granted, I am the worst speaker ever. I've been speaking for like 20 minutes and I don't even know what I said. I'm so sorry. Just to reiterate, like, it's fun. And if you want to have fun, have fun. Now we go to the spoiled part of the review, which I'm going to have a lot more fun with because I don't have to bite back my tongue and I can just give unfiltered honest opinions about everything and I can talk about everything and anything I want to. Like I already stated 101 times, this book was fun, but there was definitely a handful of scenes where I was just face planting and I was like, why would you do that? For one, I feel like you can definitely tell when an author writes a scene in order for it to get clipped. What I mean by that is you ever watch a Twitch streamer do something so odd where you're just like, I know that you wanted people to screen record that and upload it to TikTok. Similarly, I feel like authors often write certain scenes or certain quotes where you read it and you're just like, oh brother, I can 1000% tell that you wanted people to like put this quote on like a quote TikTok. And there were quite some scenes in this book. For one, the Aaron Warner rip-off scene. That scene honestly kind of pissed me off, I'm not going to lie, because it was just like word for word, play for play, exactly what happened in the Shatter Me books. And I know that author has read Shatter Me, so I was just like, don't you ever do my man Aaron like that again. Don't ever. You can never be the original. And it was just like frustrating to me because I was like, Kai is a good character on his own. Like you do not have to take it, guys. Like it was so like literally Aaron Warner smiles and then Juliet is like, oh my god, his dimples are showing, and then she says, do you want me to call you Warner or Aaron? And he's like, I don't care, your name rolled off your lips is all that matters. And that's exactly what happened in this book. And I was like, girl, like the originality is not there, don't do that again. And it kind of just like, I could tell that she wanted it to be one of those scenes where people would be like, oh my god. I was not like, oh my god. Instead I was like, ugh. You know, along with that, the pet names, you could just like, my god, the couple of times it's so nice, but oh my god, was it overkill? Like, I kid you not, every other page he was like, vicious little thing, aren't you? Vicious little thing, aren't you? Vicious little thing. She's a what? Vicious little thing. I get it. Like, I was kind of sick and tired of this, I'm not gonna lie. Along with that, like, darling, like, I feel like these pet names, I hate the word pet names, but girl, what else is there to say? Pet names can pack so much oomph and so much emotion and feeling into them when delivered appropriately, but when it's delivered every other page, it's just like, you don't get that emotion, that like, that loving, like, oh my god, he just called her something so dear and near and sweet. You just get, can we be done? Like, actually? So those handful of scenes where you're just like, this is supposed to be a clipped scene was just like, kind of me out for a moment. Along with that, Peyton as a main character, she kind of confused me because, you know, she's an ordinary, so she is struggling to survive, but she is so determined to survive. I mean, she will be faced with horrible, she was told, like, she doesn't have any powers, and she was told that she's going to go to the trials, and she was like, I am going to live through this. I'm going to live through this. And there are moments where she's faced with death, and she was like, I'm not going to die this way. I'm going to fight my way through it. And you're like, wow, one step forward, she is fighting off these ordinary allegations. She is killing it. And then, like, the very next, something else will happen, and she's like, I'm accepting death. Girl, what? Girl, what? Like, I kid you not, one moment, she will be, like, faced with, like, one character's trying to kill her, and she's like, no, I will not die, like, I'm gonna fight. And then, like, a chapter later, someone's got a knife to her throat, and she's like, well, I guess this is how it ends. And she just kind of accepts her fate until someone being Kai comes and saves her. And it's just like one step forward, two back. You know what I mean? Like, I would much rather, I understand that there are feelings of defeat when it's just like, damn, I actually am going to die because this person just put a blade 2 inches into me. If he goes 1 inch more, I'm going to have my heart decapitated. Like, I get that. But she was never in those scenarios. And so it was just like frustrating for me to see her be like so strong and so like, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. And then like 1 second later, she's like, I can't do anything. And where's Kai? Kai's going to say, you know what I mean? It was just like, girl, no. While I did enjoy the romance, parts of me was like, I don't know. Like, this wasn't necessarily insta love because like the characters didn't really fall in love that fast. Like, there was growth to them and they became friends in the trials and whatnot. But at the same time, I really enjoyed like the Shadow Me series where it was like book 1, Aaron's just obsessed with her and Juliet is like, ugh. Book 2, Aaron is still obsessed with her, but she's with Adam. Book 3 is when they like finally kind of get together. And for the characters to kind of fall in love all in one book was where I was like, I wish there was a little bit more. I mean, granted, nothing really came out of it. It's not like they said I loved you. It's not like they did anything. But regardless, I feel like I much would have rathered there to be like kind of nothing, like for the readers to know that there's something going on, but the characters not to actually act or do anything on it till like later. But that is just my opinion. Granted, this book did end where like all 3 characters, Kit, Kai, and Peyton, all kind of hate each other. So I guess that prolonging will kind of happen. But there was like moments where I was just like I don't know, it's really complicated to talk about. If you read it, you know what I'm talking about. It's just like Kai, I felt like was very enamored by her, but I get it. Like, he was saved and like this girl is different. Like, she doesn't treat me, you know, horribly and like I'm a stuck-up prince like others do. So I get it, but at the same time as I was just like, like, I want a little more angst. I want a little more like get away from me. You get what I'm saying? This book did leave me with so many questions, though. Like, for example, ordinaries are banished to the Scorches, and they have to, like, walk to the other kingdoms, I think, or, like, the other towns called Dor and Tando. And I'm just like, what are Dor and Tando? Are Dor and Tando 2 other kingdoms that are safe? Like, or are they just villages that are kind of similar to the slums? It's talked about in the book how nobody survives the Scorches because it's essentially just horrible, like, desert and then freezing cold at night. Have ordinaries survived the desert? And if so, do they live in Dor and Tando? Like, is there some sort of resistance or ordinary groups that live there? And is Peyton going to go and find them now that the resistance in Ilya is kind of gone in a way? Is she going to go to Dor and Tando? Are there like people living there and so the resistance kind of lives? I don't know, you know? Now, I had the Barnes & Noble's exclusive edition, so I don't know if, even if you've read this book, you have access to these scenes or not. But in the end of the book, there was like a chapter from Adina, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce her name, Adina's point of view when she was in the dungeon before she was put in the trials to be killed. And in the dungeon, she met a man, and there was no description of the man except that he kind of became friends with Adena, and Adena was telling him about Peyton, and she was like, I thought you were Pay, blah 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 blah. And this man obviously holds some sort of significance in the book, because otherwise why would Lauren Roberts write him? So I'm really actually excited to see who this man is. Is this man a potential love interest? Is I know that's how my brain goes first, love interest, but hey, it could happen, you know. He could be like, you're Peyton, I met Adena and she was telling me so much about you. Is this guy someone important to the resistance? Why is he in the dungeon? Who is he? Why is he important to the book? Why is he brought up? I'm really excited to get those answers. Another thing I'm excited to do is, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I feel like often, at least in the media I consume, I feel like there's this trope where the main character is like someone who is ordinary, but then it turns out that they are like exquisite in some sort of way. Either they have royal blood, noble blood, they are the key to something. So I'm really curious to see if Peyton is going to have, like, you know, maybe the ordinaries actually aren't ordinary. Maybe they have to go through some sort of insane trauma to get powers or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just reaching with that. But I don't know, this book can go in a lot of different directions, and I'm just excited. I hope that the author has lots of twists and turns and it doesn't go the really like, I could see that coming from a mile away route. I don't know, guys. I'm also excited just to see her author journey grow, because you are definitely going to be like, if I thought book was good, I am definitely going to see growth in her as a writer. Like, writers really become better book per book. At least most writers do. So I'm excited to see where she goes, where her author career takes her. I'm excited to see, Peyton and Kai and Kit and the Kingdom of Ilya and the Ordinaries. I'm excited to see where this all goes. Yeah, that was fun. And I'll see you guys next time. Get to reading.